Okay, welcome. I'm Stacy Rossetti, and I am the owner of REI USA. I'm gonna put my REI USA background on. It's gonna be good. Let me see if I can find something. Okay. All right, so I'm the owner of REI USA. REI USA is an online education network for people just like you to learn how to get started in real estate investing. So tell me in the chat, do me a favor in the chat and introduce yourself to me, and just let me know, are you a newbie in real estate investing? Have you actually done a couple of deals? What is your background on real estate investing? And what niches are you interested in? So I see Dawn is from New York, so introduce yourself to me, and tell me if you've done anything in real estate investing. Have you done any land or Airbnbs or what? Yeah, what have you done? What have you learned? Okay, good. So Dawn says she's new. And then Andrea she's done one short-term rental. Cool. Where's your short-term rental at? Let me know where that is, Andrea. And so I can get an idea of, like, who's listening and who's here, so I can just, guide you and help you to keep moving forward, right? Oh, in California. Cool. I love it. Awesome. Is that where you're located? So are you in California or are you someplace else? Um, okay, good. Awesome. All right. Well, anybody else, if you want to introduce yourself in the chat, just go ahead and let me know. And what we'll do is we'll just get started. So, oh, okay, cool. Awesome. I'm going to be in the Southern California area on the next, I think in May, actually. My daughter, her name is Lillian. She loves dinosaurs. She's like obsessed with dinosaurs. So she told us that she wants to go to the La Brea Tar Pits. I don't know if you know the La Brea Tar Pits or not, but anyways, that's where, like, there's like a dinosaur museum. That's where, like, essentially a lot of the dinosaurs, I guess dinosaurs fell into these like tar pits or something back in the day, and they're all like dinosaur boned up and stuff. And that's in Los Angeles is where that's at. So I didn't know anything about La Brea Tar Pits until she brought it up, and she told me, she said, I want to go to the La Brea Tar Pits. And I was like, what is that? And so we had to Google it and like look to see what it is. And it was like about dinosaur bones and stuff, which I thought was really cool. So we actually live in an RV, and we travel full time. We homeschool, we road school, and we're the type of people, like, if she wants to learn about something, we're just going to go there, we're just going to go there and check it out. So we'll be in that area. See, that's what happens when you get started in real estate investing, right? You can just lifestyle by design, right? So, okay, so she says, yeah, we've done La Brea, and my kids love the Natural History Museum and want to know about the homeschool. Yeah. So that's how we do. We've been homeschooling Lillian since she was, anyways, a kid, like a little baby, and she's 5 years old. She's about to turn 6 in April. And we live in an RV and travel full time. I personally, we invest in self-storage. That's what we do. But I've been investing in real estate for 10 years, and I'm going to get into my presentation here in just a second, but I've been investing in real estate for 10 years, and we started out rehabbing and wholesaling. And then we got into storage after 5 years. So I'll get into the whole story, but I just wanted to just, welcome you all to REI USA. I founded REI USA a couple of years ago, and REI USA is an online education platform for people that want to put themselves in front of people like me, successful investors across the country, and get small group coaching, right? So when you come to these sessions, just like this one, you'll come and you'll be able to meet teachers all across the country that are just like amazing investors and doing like amazing deals and just doing all kinds of things. And they're at the point in their life where, they just want to give back, right? So all the teachers here, they just come to teach and share what they know, what they've learned over the years. And then you guys can come to these live webinars, and you can put yourself in front of them and just ask them any questions that they may have, right? So just like this. And typically what I do, and actually, and I'll end up probably doing that here at the end of the session. If you're interested and you have any questions, we just allow everybody to talk, and then you can ask any question that you want, and then we'll just make sure that you're always moving forward. So yeah, so that's basically it. So REI USA offers live webinars on all different niches across the country, and all different topics. So and specific areas, and I'll kind of show you that in just a second. But before we do that, I'll do the presentation, because I know you want to learn, how to get started in real estate investing, or like what your next steps are. And so basically what I do typically is I teach like what's called my 6-step system. And the 6-step system takes you through like all the moving parts of real estate investing and what you should be focusing on within your company. So I'm going to do that as the presentation today, and then after that, I can unmute you, and you can ask any questions that you want, just so I can make sure that you're moving forward, like you're not stuck on anything. Okay, good. All right, let's get started. Oh yeah, so yeah. Oh, you had an RV too. Yeah, we have an RV. We live in an RV. I'm actually in my RV right now. This is my bed right here. You can't see it because I'm covering it up. You can kind of see when I do this. See, there's my bed. But I have like a little tiny workspace, and this is where I do all my virtual, teachings and things like this and work. And it's like my workspace. Okay. All right. Let me get started here. Let me see. I'm going to share my screen. It's right here. Actually, hang on. Let me just get this. I got the presentation. I actually did a presentation. So sometimes I just kind of teach, and sometimes I do a presentation. So let me just, okay, got this up and running here. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to go ahead and just present this. Okay, all right, so let me know in the chat if you can see this, or just let me know, just say yes, so I know that everybody can see what I'm doing. And this is the simple, it's called my super simple, good, perfect. Okay, awesome. Okay, super simple 6-step system for beginners. All right, so we'll go through this, and I'll show you kind of my system, how I teach. And okay, all right. Yeah, so first, before we get started on the 6-step system, what I wanted to talk to you about is kind of what's happening in the real estate market. Because a lot of people right now are just really asking themselves, like, is it the right time to get in the real estate market? Because everybody knows that the market is going crazy. Houses are just at ridiculous prices right now. And a lot of people really ask themselves, is like, can I make money in this market right now? Is it really a good time to get in because the prices are so high? Okay. I'm actually right now in like the Austin, Texas area. And if you guys know anything about Austin, Texas, y'all know that this is like the craziest market ever. The houses are selling at like $350 a square foot right now. It's just like ridiculous. I'm originally from Austin, so we came over here to hang out with my family for a little bit. And I also went around and looked at properties for sale, because this is one place that we're considering like settling down in, right? So we're traveling around we're basically trying to figure out when we want to settle down. And so this is one of the areas that we're looking at. It's just that I'm just so cheap. See, I came into the market 10 years ago when everything was like super, super cheap. So when I see $350 a square foot, I kind of like, my heart hurts a little bit, and, but the truth is, and now that I've been staying here for a while, and this is going to go for everywhere that you guys are at, the truth is that, like I'm kind of out in like, I'm not in the primary market of Austin, and I'm not even in the secondary market of Austin. I'm kind of in what's called the tertiary market. So primary market obviously is like the metro area, and then the secondary market would be kind of like the burbs of an area, right? Like the suburbs, and the tertiary market's gonna be more of like the country. And I'm in a little tiny town called Spicewood. And from Spicewood, from like Austin to Austin to Marble Falls, it's like an hour-long drive. It used to me when I was a little kid, I used to think like Marble Falls, my God, that's like so far out. I'm never going to go out there. And now it's like an hour. You're like, that's not a long time at all, right? And so I'm looking at property like kind of in this area, out a little bit more away from the Austin area. And the reason why is because that's the areas that Those are the areas where the market is growing to, right? So when you think about like where you want to start investing, and if you want to start investing in this market, then you really should be thinking about where you want to be investing. And the question is it a good time to be investing in the primary markets? That's the key. Is it a good time right now to be investing in primary markets? And the question is, unless you're like this big, huge company, or you have a lot of money, or you're like a fund or whatever it is, probably primary markets are not where you want to be, because the spread is just so small, right? The spread between like what you purchased the house for and what you can sell it for is very, very small. All right. So you want to be going out probably not even into secondary markets, because secondary markets are also very, very expensive. I mean, it's just super expensive. And the way that a lot of like, even a lot of investors, or the way that a lot of companies look, is they're really studying migratory patterns. And they study like really kind of how the markets are growing and where the people are moving to, or how the areas are moving. So secondary markets, obviously people are having a hard time even afford housing in the secondary markets, so they're moving even further out. So going from instance like Austin to Marble Falls, and Marble Falls is kind of a little tiny town, but it's like also booming, and so we're looking at like these types of areas. And what we do is we pull up like populations of cities within like the areas that you want to be in. And we really don't focus on primary or secondary markets to invest in. We focus on tertiary markets that are kind of outside of the secondary markets. So what we do is we pull up population. We pull up the population of the areas, and we also look at whether or not the town is declining, stabilized, or growing, right? If the population of a town is increasing, and it's one of these kind of tertiary market cities, those are very, very good areas to be investing in right now. Okay, because you can get them at like better prices, better rates. And even if it's an outside, or even if it's an hour or 2 hours outside of like the area that you thought you were going to be investing in, it's going to be a good market, because essentially the cities are just growing out. And then also another thing too is just to keep in mind like secondary markets that are not suburbs. So what I mean by that is secondary markets that are like towns that are kind of bigger towns in your state, that are like separated from everything else. Okay, so so for instance, like Marble Falls is a town that's like outside of like the Austin area, outside of the big major areas, and it's growing very rapidly. That would be considered a secondary market. So you want to also think about that, like when you're looking for, if you want to invest in a secondary market right now, unless you know that you can come up with a lot of money and raise a lot of money, look for secondary markets that are cities near you that could be growing, but they're not burbs of your city, of the major cities. Or look at even like tertiary markets. If you can't afford a secondary market, you can afford a tertiary market. Like a secondary market would be Temple, Texas. Temple, Texas, when I was growing up, was just this like a town that like nobody wanted to live in. I went to go speak at an event in Temple like a month or so ago, and it was just like booming. And so I would consider that like a good secondary market to be investing in. All right. So the question is it a good time to be investing in real estate? And the answer is yes. And the second part of that answer is just know where you should be looking for your properties. And I tell my students all the time, tertiary markets are great. Any tertiary market you're going to be fine in, pretty much, as long as it's either stabilized or growing. And then secondary markets are good as long as they're little tiny towns that are outside of your major metropolitan area. or like you're on the very outskirts of where everything is growing. Like, you know that this area is growing. I was talking to a guy over here in Marble Falls, and it was a commercial realtor because I was looking at a storage facility. And this is like, it's a little town called Cottonwood. And it's like, nobody ever wanted to live there, for a long time. And he said like 3 developers have come in and bought like all the acreage up, and they're about to build like 1,400 homes over the next couple years. And so he said this whole area is going to be booming, growing and stuff. And so talk to your realtors about insider information, stuff like that, to see where the places are growing, where the cities are moving to. Really try to educate yourself on kind of where the market's moving to. You can look at the, your city's plan, the planning committee of your city. They should have like a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan, a 20-year plan. So my point is that like, if you want to invest in real estate, you should be educating yourself on where you should be investing in real estate, because the truth is that right now where you're investing is super, super important, because you don't want to spend too much money on a property just in case something happens over the next couple of years. I mean, look what's happening. Who knows, right? We got war, we got COVID, we got like, all kinds of crap going on right now. So you don't want to be in over your head. All right. And so being in a primary market or the burbs of a primary market may not be the best thing for you right now. I would leave all those kind of areas to investors that really know what they're doing and have a lot of money. And I would go outside into secondary and tertiary markets. Okay. And then another thing I put on here on this slide was that you need to be getting your credit in order, and you need to be getting your cash in order. Because I mean, I have like an in-house CFO. And this is what we were talking about the other day. We had our meeting. He was like, cash is king, Stacy, cash is king. Because we're talking about maybe selling, 1 or 2 of our properties, of our storage facilities, just so that we have like some cash available, just in case, like, the market crashes, or not really crashes, but the market starts slowing, or we go into recession, or whatever's going to happen. But so we're trying to really get our cash in order, and you guys should be doing this as well too. Okay. Get your credit in order, get your cash in order, talk to all lenders that are out there. There's so many lenders out there that are lending. Get pre-approval, get ready, get lines of credit, get ready, to just have everything available, so that when you do come across a property, then you can jump on the deal, right? Okay. And then also another thing is that you want to be a part of a community, right? That's why I love REI USA. We have awesome teachers, awesome members, and you can hop on at any time and ask any questions that you want on any topic that you want. And you just want to be surrounded by like-minded individuals that really kind of understand what you're talking about, and really kind of support you. Because I mean, I don't know if you guys are like me. Like, when I talk to my parents about what I'm doing, they have no idea what I'm doing. They don't even care when I'm asking any questions, right? And so, I like having REI USA. I like having all my students around me, so that I can just sit here and talk shop, and people can like understand what I'm saying and support me. So make sure you have that as well too, especially over the next year, the next couple of years, because what's going to happen, we don't know, but gotta be ready. Okay. But yeah, I wanted to point this out. I love this graph. Okay. So, and this is basically the market. Okay. And, and this is where and actually you guys put into the chat, where do you think we are? This is the real estate market right now. All right. This is the real estate market. Are we in the optimism, excitement, euphoria, denial, fear, panic, or hope or optimism phases? If you had to guess, where do you think we are in the market right now? And the real estate market is, you just put it into the chat if you want to take a guess. But the real estate market is just a cycle. And I've been doing this now for 10 years. I started over in the optimism. I started over where it said optimism. And actually, I think it probably started in like the hope. I probably started in the hope up to the optimism, because when I got in, man, it was good. Prices were so cheap. I could buy stuff for pennies on the dollar. It was just awesome. And so that's why I have such a hard time buying stuff at like such high prices and stuff. And I was talking to another investor about this the other day. We were having lunch together, and it was like, it's so hard for me to spend so much money on a deal because, I bought them at such cheap prices, and now I'm like super cheap and I'm all screwed up, right? So that means I have to like really, really search hard for really, really good deals. Now, people that are coming into the game right now, right? What people are coming into the game right now, they, they don't really, you guys don't understand. I mean, you don't understand what it was like during the optimism, excitement, and euphoria phases, right? Because, y'all think that now, you might think that now is euphoria, but the truth is we're probably in the denial to fear and almost to the panic phases. Because I was, because we just kind of are, we're scrambling right now. We're scrambling to figure out what's going on, right? So I made it through the optimum to the excitement, did really, really great. We did a lot of rehabs. I did like 100 rehabs in 5 years. And then as soon as we got out to the top of the market, as soon as we got to the top of the market, we got out of the game. And then now we've just been, we're focusing on passive income. Now, when you go, typically the way the market works is on an upturn, you get into like wholesaling and rehabbing and flipping and this kind of stuff, flipping land or whatever. And then on the downturn is when you really get into holding, right? So that's why you hear a lot of like multifamilies going up. This is why multifamily is growing so quickly. This is why you hear a lot of buy and holds, and you want to do, short-term rentals that really are buy and holds, but it's active income, but it's a buy and hold strategy. And so you hear more about buy and hold strategies on the downturns, and you hear a lot more people doing wholesaling and rehabbing on the upturns, right? So obviously, once we get past the downturn, right, then we'll be getting back up. And when we get back up to the upturn, we'll be the times will be switched, and everybody was focusing on rehabbing and stuff. So right now, getting into the market, rehabbing and wholesaling is going to be difficult. All right, it's not easy to wholesale into rehab right now. Why? Why is that? Why is it not easy to wholesale and rehab? The reason why is because like I said, the spread is so little. It's hard to make money as a wholesaler when the spread is not there, right? It's hard to make money as a rehabber if the spread's not there, right? So that's why in the downturn, people are really doing buy and holds. And this is the market switches, the market changes, right? So it'll come back down once we get down to the lowest end, and then we'll come back up, and it will come back up to wholesaling, rehabbing, really active income. On a downturn, people are holding on to what they have. They're holding on to their money. They're holding on to their properties. And on an upturn is when they're like, okay, let's just spend. Okay. Okay. And so the question is like, what is going to happen to the market over the next couple of years? And my answer is we have no idea. Honestly, everybody's speculating. I watch like YouTube videos. I try to listen to all the experts, watch webinars on what's going to happen. And, everybody thinks that we will eventually hit the downturn and we will have some sort of a decrease. But in the major primary markets like Austin or Boise or, Dallas is growing very rapidly. And these types of cities and stuff, you're probably not going to see like huge, big downturns, but you will see downturns in like, some secondary markets, tertiary markets, this kind of thing. So that's why I say focus on these secondary and tertiary markets, because eventually you're going to see a lot of stuff change. And then also another thing too, Darlene is our foreclosure expert, and she teaches for REI USA, she teaches how to find foreclosures, and she knows all about like what's happening across the country with foreclosures. And that's really kind of what she, what she focuses on, and she buys foreclosures. So highly, highly recommend that you guys are going to her session and listening to her. She teaches like once a month on like how to find foreclosure properties for REI USA. And she's awesome. She's amazing. So, and she'll prepare you, and she'll get you prepared, because what she was saying, like, she just spoke at our summit like just a couple weeks ago, and basically what she was saying was that like foreclosures are coming back. Foreclosures are coming back. So be prepared, learn how to buy them, because it's increasing more and more and more. And obviously, remember September was like September or October, again, like October of last year, like all of the, the moratoriums and everything got released. And so now the banks are really trying to, get all these payments from everybody, and like foreclosures are starting to increase. Okay. And then another thing too is that David from David Randolph teaches short sales, how to buy short sales. And I'm going to tell you, he is buying like a ridiculous amount of houses right now. And he teaches you how to find properties that are short sale properties, and then then flipping them. And so like so he's getting these properties for like pennies on the dollar, and he's going and he's working with the banks to get these properties. So of all, like, because of what's happening in the real estate market, those two topics are very, very critical right now for you to be learning about. So you have to make sure that you jump on David's session and Darlene's session and really kind of soak in everything that they have to teach over the next couple of months, because that will really help you, guide you into what's going to happen over the course of the next year or so. Okay. All right. Good. Okay. Oh yeah. So me, I already told you, I've been doing this now for 10 years. I've rehabbed over 100 houses. I no longer rehab houses anymore, because I've become a storage and storage investor. And when you become a storage investor, you just get like lazy is what happens, so I don't rehab anymore. In fact, I don't even own a house. I just live in an RV and travel and just manage our storage facilities. But I've done hundreds and hundreds of transactions over the last 10 years. I've done over $20 million in transactions. So I know what I'm doing. And the truth of the matter is like every teacher that teaches for REI USA is exactly like me. We are all exactly the same. We are like we're attracted to each other, because like we're the same type of mentality and stuff. So I highly recommend getting to know all the teachers, and I know all of them. They're all like, I've been doing this now for 10 years, and they're all like friends in the industry and stuff. So we've all kind of gotten together, and we're here to teach you, what to do. All right. And I've been teaching people how to invest in real estate for about 8 years now. And I love teaching. This is my family. This is our tiny house that we have. We just sold it and moved into our RV. So before we lived in an RV, we lived in a tiny house. This is it, in the mountain, the highest mountain in Georgia. We lived at the top of the mountain. And this is my husband Pete, and this is my daughter Lillian. It's our little tiny house. We just recently sold it in last summer. We bought our RV, and then we just started traveling full time. Okay. When I was doing rehabs, I was doing like the same rehab over and over and over. Okay. So I was like super like super cookie cutter when I was doing rehabs. I never did any additions. I never built on. I never did anything hard. All I did was just do a lot of like just clean up, quick rehabs, in and out and gone. So this is like one of the ones that I bought. And then all I did was just like paint it. That's it. And then on the inside, a little bit of work, and then we just sold it. Okay. So that's the kind of stuff that I did. Like we were in and out. My rehabs were typically anywhere from like $40,000 to $60,000 maybe. And that was it. Okay. And that seems like a lot of money, but honestly, in a rehab, that ain't a lot of money. That's for sure. Okay. All right. This is one of the houses I wholesaled, right? I picked this up and I wholesaled it to one of my students. So I've done wholesaling as well too. This is an abandoned storage facility that I found, right? I was just driving around, driving for storage, and I found this facility just sitting there hiding in the woods. It's right off of a main road. You can see a car is like right over there. It's off of a road, but it's like all covered in bushes and stuff. So that's one of the things I do is I teach people how to find abandoned storage facilities. Okay. All right, so we're getting into the 6 steps. These are the 6 steps. Okay, so this is like this. When I talk about the 6 steps, I talk about like the 6 departments of your business. So as a real estate investor, your company is made up of 6 departments, and each of those departments will have, like, moving parts at all times. Okay, and so like to be able to manage all this means that you have to really be able to manage a lot of stuff at the same time. All right. So so basically these 6 departments are your office admin, your marketing department, acquisitions, finance, construction, and liquidations. Okay. So we're going to go through each of those real quick. I'm going to give you an idea of what you should be doing in each of these departments right now to get started. Okay. Okay. So first, your office admin is you should be setting up your phones, right? And so you need to have some sort of a line that you can use when you're talking to owners and have them be able to call you back. It's not your personal phone number. You don't want to be using that. You want to have your own phone, your own business line, and have them be able to call you back to talk to you. You also want to be going electronic, okay? Like essentially you should be able to manage your whole company from your phone, right? This is, you can't see it, but this is, and you like, and essentially you need to be able to like take pictures of properties. You don't want to be taking pictures of properties and like have like 1,000 pictures of houses and then be like, which house is this? And then scrolling through and trying to figure out which house it is. Essentially what we do is take pictures of properties and then we automatically upload them to the Google Drive, a Google Drive folder. We name the folder of that property, the property address, and then we have all the pictures in that folder. So at any time we can always look up the property address and find the property, because the truth is once you get out there and start looking at property, all the houses start looking the same to you, right? And you're like, now which house was that? I can't remember. Okay. So my point is that when you get started in real estate investing, you just want to be super organized, right? Because things start jumbling together and you have a lot of moving parts and you want to be able to just keep everything as organized as you want. And the truth is that you're really kind of setting up the foundation of your business, and the foundation of your business, just like a house, is holding up your business and holding it up and making it survive and making it stand up and work and function, right? So get the foundation of your business set up properly, and I can guarantee you that that's going to help you throughout the years. All right. So one of the things I always teach my students is like, use Google Drive, use some sort of a cloud-based CRM system or folder system where you can have like an app on your phone, pull up your phone, and then be able to pull any document that you need at any time. Essentially, there's been many, many times that I've gone to closings and they're like, and the lawyer will be like, oh, you need this, I need this, blah, 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 in order to close. And I'm like, oh yeah, okay, boop, boop, boop. And I just like pull it up in Google Drive and just like send it over to my attorney. All right, so gone are the days when you need to have stuff on your computer. Like I hold no documents on my computer at all, except for on my desktop, right? When I need something, I put it on the desktop, right? But that's it. I just put everything right into Google Drive, and you should just consider doing something like that as well too, because driving and looking at all the properties kind of just becomes a lot of work. And you want to make sure that you're setting up your LLC. Actually, if you're going to be buying and holding property, you should have an LLC. And if you're going to be flipping houses, then you need to really have an S Corp. An LLC is really for holding on to property, and an S Corp is for active income, right? Is active income. So and talk to your accountant about this. I'm not like an accountant or anything, but like this is what we do. We have like LLCs that hold all of our properties, and we have S Corps that handle all the active income. So for instance, like our property management company that we have is an S Corp, right? And all the properties that we own our storage facilities in, those are all LLCs, okay? And then you want to work on building your team. All right, so you want to make sure that you have realtors on your team that you can help. You have other investors in your team that you can rely on, your attorneys, your home inspector, your contractors. So your office admin really is comprised of just building the foundation of your business, building it up so that you have this base that you can work off over the next couple of years. Okay, marketing department. The marketing department. Okay, so the marketing department is really comprised of picking 3 strategies and doing these strategies all the time. Because the truth is if you ain't marketing to find property, then guess what? You ain't never going to find any property. Because if you're thinking that you can go on the MLS to find a property, then most likely you ain't going to find something. All right, because it's just gone are the days. See, when I started in real estate investing, I got to go on to the MLS, and actually pretty much every house of the 100 houses I ever bought came from the MLS. Because when I started 10 years ago, there was not a lot of wholesalers. There was, that was just kind of like, it was all getting like kind of started and popular and stuff like this. It's just like, because all the wholesalers like all had to get out because of the bubble, and then they slowly started coming in. Because I came into the investing world about 2010, and that's when things just, were just getting started back, to normal and stuff. So anyways, so yeah, so you want to be focusing on your marketing. And so first of all, you need to pick your market. We already talked about that, right? Primary, secondary, tertiary markets. You need to know whether or not you're going to be focusing on motivated sellers or unmotivated sellers. Okay, a motivated seller is somebody that needs to sell their house quickly. All right, so if they're getting a divorce or going through bankruptcy, or they're they've got some sort of tax lien on their property, or they're going to have an eviction or whatever it is, or something, those are all motivated sellers. Okay, unmotivated sellers are going to be like people, free and clear properties, or inherited properties, probate. Those are all unmotivated sellers. So when you think of marketing in the real estate world, you think of it in terms of motivated and unmotivated sellers. Storage owners of properties that are storage facility owners, they are unmotivated sellers, right? They don't want, why would they sell? It's a buy and hold property and they're making money every single month on it. Landlords would be unmotivated sellers. Why would they sell this property? Their property is appreciating and they're making money on it every month, right? All right, so now the only type of landlord that would be like a motivated seller would probably be like maybe in Oregon or New York, and they've been there for like 2 years and nobody's paid and they can't kick them out or whatever, what I'm saying? So that kind of stuff, that'd be a motivated seller. So depending on what type of property you want is how you're going to consider your marketing, right? So if you are if you want to do short-term rentals, right? And then it really depends on what type of short-term rental you want. Do you want to do arbitrage, or do you want to actually just buy the property yourself? If you wanted to do arbitrage, then you could maybe focus on landlords that are like, having problems, like I would say like motivated landlords that are having problem getting payments, from their tenants. All right. You could focus on that, and then you could just do what's called Airbnb arbitrage, and then just rent the place from them, and then Airbnb it out. All right. If you wanted to do if you wanted to buy the property and then have the Airbnb as your own property, then target target landlords that are unmotivated landlords. See, I really and it's also really depends on your personality, because my personality is like, I'm really like slow and lazy, right? The more that I invest in real estate, the lazier I get. If it's not a good deal, like I'm not going to stress over it or anything like that. And if it's not a deal that's like an easy deal for me, then I'm just not going to stress out over it, right? So I like to have a lot of time to figure stuff out. I like to figure out how I'm going to get the money, and if it's a good deal, and I need some time for due diligence. And, I just need like time, right? I need time. Right. So I always focus on unmotivated sellers. I've never, ever worked with motivated sellers. Now, unmotivated sellers, obviously, they need more follow through. They need more, you know, they need to get to know you. They need to know, like, and trust you. So it just takes a long time for them to want to sell. Storage facility owners are unmotivated sellers. Like, they don't want to sell, right? Landlords are unmotivated sellers. So you're going to have to work with them and follow up and continue to keep wanting to do, you know, work, you know, push and push and push, but in like a nice way, right? And they may not want to close for like, you know, 60, 90, 120 days. And so you just have to have the personality, like, you know, you're going to have to follow up, you know, you're going to have to really be a good person that manages your contacts very well, right? And has a system to manage your contacts. Motivated sellers, like, you got to buy, you got to sell this thing in 2, 3, 4 weeks. So that means you got to be on top of it. You got to know what you're doing. You've got to know what your exit strategy is, right? You've got to know, okay, this person's going through like a bankruptcy and they're going to court in like 2 weeks. I have to be able to come up with the money and close in the next couple of weeks. Can I do that? Right? Or if they're like, you know, it's 30, 60, 90 days behind and they're about to lose their house and they're going into foreclosure, you need to be able to bring everything current. You have to have money to do that. You have to be able to act fast, you know, get the title company to close, the attorneys to close, and you got to just be like on top of it and like working and all this kind of stuff. Okay, so whatever type of personality that is your personality, there's no right or wrong way, and you'll be able to do great in either of the ways. You just have to pick what is your what's your type of personality. Okay. And you know, and then so you have all these lists, you have all these types of lists that you're trying to figure out which list you're going to be utilizing for what type of property that you're going to be buying. Okay. That's basically the strategy behind it, right? So marketing for real estate property is a strategy. You don't just like buy a list, send out letters, and like hope for the best or whatever, right? You have to really kind of figure it out. And there's all these things about touches as well too. So like a motivated seller, obviously you're going to be like contacting them and touching them within like a couple of weeks with postcards and emails and blah, 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 and like whatever letters and whatever you want to do. Like, you're going to be on top of it, contacting them just within a shorter period of time. Whereas like, let's say probate, you're going to mail them a letter like once every couple of months and keep following up that way, right? So just consider that as well too, is that the type of list and the type of seller that you want to focus on is also going to create the type of strategy that you're going to have, how many touches you're going to have, what you're going to mail out to them, right? So a probate lead ain't going to want to get a postcard in the mail trying to buy their house. All right. A probate lead is going to want to be like, you know, they're going to want to like connect with you and like they want to feel like you actually care, right? So a letter, a nice letter, you know, maybe a personal letter. Sometimes I put like my picture on my letter or something like this, or a picture of the property on the letter or something, you know. So you have to think outside the box. You have to really think about, like, if I were this person and this person was going through divorce, what kind of letter would I want to get in the mail in order to be able to talk to some stranger about selling my property? Okay. All right. That's marketing. Hope that helps a little bit. Acquisitions. Okay, good. Acquisitions. Okay, acquisitions is where you're going to have to learn deal analysis. You're going to have to learn how to run deal analysis. But guess what? Life is easy nowadays. See, back in the day, you actually had to like use your head a little bit. You know, when I started, they didn't have like online deal analyzers and stuff like this. But now there's all kinds of different like softwares out there that just run the numbers for you. And let me just show you real fast in the let me see here, in the REI USA page. Hang on, I'm going on my own video thing here. REI USA. So when you go to REI USA and you go to the partners section, this is where you'll be able to find all the different types of software. So just click on partners right here. And then you'll be able to scroll down and you can pick all different kinds of like CRMs and softwares that can manage your entire business for you, right? So all the newbies getting started, if I were starting, this is what I would be doing. Now I'm old school and I've been doing this for 10 years and like, I can't change my ways anymore, right? That's just how it is. So I'm using just like a spreadsheet to run my numbers and things like this. But you can utilize like Deal Machine is a way for you to find properties. Flipper Force is another like CRM. If you want to flip houses, this is the software you should be using. Freedom Soft is a CRM and it has like a mail house and like all kinds of good stuff. This is a software that you can take a look at. And let's see what else. You can just look at all this and just check it all out. PropStream is a CRM where you could look up comps. You could look up comps of properties. Privy is a comping software as well too. So just as I said, look at the partners page and try to figure out. RealFlow is also a CRM that will help you to like, take, basically what I'm saying is that these types of properties, here's a deal analysis. Like if you need help running deal analysis, then ROI Muse. And I know this guy, Joe, I know everybody here, but like Joe is such a good guy. He created this software and it's just deal analyzers for people that want to get into real estate investing. Anyway, so basically what I'm saying is that utilize the REI USA website. And you can find all the different softwares and things that you need to like get your business up and running, right? And all the people that are on the partners, these are all like friends of mine in the real estate industry. And so they have become like basically partners of REI USA. And every once in a while, they'll do a webinars for all the members of REI USA too. And they'll come in and do demos and all kinds of stuff like this too. So just pay attention to that. Our sponsors are always doing like webinars, and our partners are also doing webinars as well too for all of our members, so you can get in and ask them questions as well. Okay, let me see, go back to this one. Okay, so yeah, you want to be able to, in acquisitions, you want to be able to run comps. So you need some sort of a way to run comps. So you need some sort of software like Privy or PropStream, and you can just ask them to, give you a demo if you need to, or you can like, look, I think, and also what you can do on everything that basically you've seen all the different softwares, you can do like a 2-week, I think it's usually like 2 or 3 weeks trial period. So you could try it out and see which ones you like the best, okay? But you need some sort of a software to be able to run comps. You need to be able to, to do deal analysis, run the numbers. Is it a good deal? Is it not a good deal? Repair analysis is coming up with like your scope of work and your spec sheet. So if you want to do rehabs, I highly recommend that you look at these softwares like Flipper Force. Flipper Force will take you from like, I have no idea if this is a good deal or not, all the way through the whole process, scope of work, spec sheets, everything, numbers, P&L, balance sheet, putting the whole deal together and everything, right? So the software I'm basically saying is that the software nowadays is amazing. And if you want something to really manage your business, then highly recommend that you're looking at all those and doing like some sort of a trial period. Okay. And then you need like some sort of you need some sort of a boots on the ground person, like either going to be you to go and look at the property, right, or somebody else to go and look at the property. But you need to take lots of pictures of the property. You need to you need to be able to like see it, take videos, pictures, so that you can make a good decision on whether or not you want to buy that property. So and this also stems from like remote rehabbing or remote wholesaling, which is like this like in the virtual world nowadays. You don't have to be in Austin and only focusing on the Austin market. You don't have to be in Nashville only focusing on the Nashville market. Nowadays, I mean, essentially you can be like, you can really be focusing on any market that you want to be in, just as long as you have these like boots on the ground people. So for me personally, we own 11 storage facilities in the Georgia and Florida area. And I haven't been to Georgia in like months. Haven't been, and we're not going to be back into Georgia until the end of this year, maybe not. I don't even know when we're going to go back to Georgia. And we're running all of our facilities with our boots on the ground people. You can do the same thing with wholesaling, the same thing with rehabbing as well too. You just have to create your company to be like a virtual company. This is totally normal now, and it's actually more accepting even to like sellers. If you say like, look, I live in Arkansas, but I'm interested in Missouri. they're okay with that. You just, I'm like, I'm going to send over my boots on the ground person, and he's going to take a look at your house, and he's going to take pictures of it and do like a, a repair estimate sheet and stuff like this or whatever. And they're totally open to this. Like I'm telling you, sellers are really open to this nowadays, more so than ever before. Okay. And then you have to make offers, right? The only way you're ever going to get a property is by making an offer. So if you're not making an offer, guess what? You ain't going to get a property. So you might as well just make a whole bunch of offers. We made an offer the other day. The store guy wanted, like a boat and RV storage guy. He wanted $2.4 million for his property, and we offered $600,000, right? So he told me, he said, your offer is a joke. And I was like, at least we made an offer, right? We made an offer. And, you never know, like, just gets their wheels turning, like, shit, maybe I'm asking way too much money for my property. You know what I'm saying? Like, but maybe we're just lowballing them. I don't know, because that was all we came up with for the comps. But you know what I'm saying? Like, we made an offer. That's all that matters. So make offers. That's what you got to do. Okay. Finance. Okay, so now, yeah, we're getting into the money part. And this is another thing too. If you go to the REI USA page, right, and you click on, if you click on the, let's see, if you go up and you click on the sponsor tab, you'll be able to see all of our lenders. Yeah, go to the sponsor directory, okay? And then the sponsor directory is where we have like all of our lenders. Baker Collins is here, Civic is here. So you can go through this whole list, and you need to start talking to lenders. Remember, I said that already. You need to start talking to lenders and start trying to figure out your money situation, because cash is key. Having lines of credit, having lenders in your back pockets are really what are going to help you over the next couple of years to really get through this whole like phase that we're in. Okay. And then learn how to do creative deal structuring. William Tingle teaches creative deal structuring. All right. So you have to go to his session. All right. He is on, actually, you can go to the, you can go to the events calendar, and I don't know what day he teaches on, but essentially you just click on, just go through and you'll see all the different courses that are being taught. And then you can also click here to see the trainings calendar. And William Tinkle, he's right here, creative real estate structure and structuring, real estate investing and buying. So he teaches on Saturdays is when he teaches. Okay. And so make sure that you go to his session, because he is going to help you to learn how to do creative deal structuring, owner financing, and subject to, and equity splits, and that kind of stuff is what he does. Okay. All right. Transactional funding. We talked about. That's talking to hard money lenders, talking to private money lenders, and finding money for the deal, and talking to as many lenders as you possibly can. Oh, also another thing too, I was going to say is inside the portal for REI USA is the Alan Cowgill Private Money Lender Workshop. So Alan Cowgill is like one of our guest speakers for REI USA. And he doesn't teach on a regular basis, but he does do workshops for us on a regular basis. And I've known Alan for like many, many years. If you go into the training and training replay section right here, and you click on right here, if you click on how to get started, no, I say private money made easy is his little workshop that he just did like a couple of weeks ago. And let me see if I can find it. Yeah, here it is. It's a 4-hour workshop, and all he talks about is how to find private money. So this is free for all REI USA members. You can come and watch it as well too. And he's awesome. He's a great guy. So so there's that you can do. I wanted to make sure that you guys saw that. And, yeah, and then make sure that you find an attorney or title company to close your deals as well too. Right, that's important. In the construction part of your departments, like the construction department, then here is where you're going to be hiring contractors, putting your scope of work together, your spec sheet, permits and inspections. have your punch party, right? So punch everything out, make everything looks good so that you can put it on the market or do our Airbnb or whatever you're going to rent it out or whatever you're going to do, right? So in this part right here, this is all the things that you need to be working on. I just wanted to show you guys really fast that we have, let me see, on the events calendar coming up. I highly, if you want to rehab, that's what I'm saying. If you want to rehab and really learn how to rehab, then you definitely need to be going to Christy and Noah. They all they do is like rehabbing. They do rehabbing and they do short-term rentals. They teach that. Look, here's rehabbing on a budget with Lynette, right? And then there is let me show you what else. Oh yeah, and then here's Annie and Jay. They're doing like awesome, huge custom rehabs is what they're doing. And they're doing, actually right now they're doing a hotel rehab as well, right? So this is like, they're really awesome investors. And then here's Walk the Flip with Carson. And all he does is actually he does mobile homes. He invests in mobile homes and he does rehabs and he does a lot of subject to stuff as well too. So he teaches in the morning. And so anyways, what I'm saying is go through the sessions and try to figure out which teachers would be awesome. George Onsong also does does rehabbing as well too. So there's a whole bunch of different teachers that teach on rehabbing. So if you really want to get into like how they do that and ask them questions, like ask all the teachers questions like, where do you get your money from to do all your rehabs? Or like, how did you find your deals? Like, tell me exactly what your marketing strategies are. How do you put your scope of work together? How do you put your spec sheet together? How do you find your contractors? I mean, that is the whole point of like REI USA, is you can hop on a live webinar and then just ask random questions like that. Any questions that you need in order to like keep moving you forward. Okay. And then finally, liquidations. Okay. So liquidations is where you're going to sell your properties, right? If you're going to be a wholesaler, then you're going to have to build your buyers list. But the good thing is that because you're members of REI USA, once you join REI USA, you have an instant buyers list, right? Because once you get into the portal, you have access to the members directory. And in the members directory, you have access to all the members of REI USA across the country. And guess what? Everybody in REI USA wants to buy property. So if you need an instant buyers list, and make sure that you're utilizing all the people that are joining REI USA, introduce yourself and say, look, like, what are you looking for? Especially if you want to wholesale, what are you looking for? Like, and then just like, we call that reverse wholesaling, where it's like, you actually go to the buyer and you ask them like what they're looking for. And then you go look for what they're looking for, instead of just randomly going out and finding houses and hopefully finding a buyer. Right. And so you'll have access to the members directory. You have an instant buyers list that you can use. And then also another thing is we have right here, this properties for sale. And this is where you can post your properties. So if you do have properties that you want to sell, you post them through the portal. And then they go onto the main site, they go into the members portal, and all the members get access to all of your properties as well too. All right. So on the liquidations part, we help you to, at least try to sell your properties that way. Okay. We'll make sure that everybody has access to those. And then we also have a property, like a property of the week, right? And then we'll put it on our newsletter as well too. So it'll get out to all of the list of everybody as well. Okay. So anyways, this is the members directory. So as you can see, you have access to their email is what you have access to, right? But email's good, right? You can email them and you could say like, hey, Alexandra, I see you're part of REI USA and just wondering like, what kind of properties you're looking for, this kind of thing, what would you be interested in? So you have an instant buyers list here, or you can email out your property, blast it out to everybody here as well too. Okay. And then let me see, let me get back over here. Yeah, finding cash buyers. And then we talked about that, marketing for buyers, and then partnering, partnering and closing your deals, right? So in the liquidations department, you're going to be either as a wholesaler wholesaling the property, or as a rehabber, you're going to be listing the property with the realtor. If you're going to be Airbnb the property, then you're going to be putting it on Airbnb. I would highly recommend, if you are going to do short-term rentals, then I would go and check out like Rachel's session, and I would check out Rich's session. Those are our two Airbnb superstars. And so they'll help you to be able to figure out all the steps and what you're going to do on that as well. Okay. So let me see. I think that's it. Yeah, that was all I had to share for today. I kind of just wanted to go through. Not only your 6 steps of what you should be focusing on. All right. I know it's a lot of information, like, so like, what should I be focusing on right now? Everything I just said is what you should be focusing on, right? But at the same time, I wanted to show you how you can utilize REI USA so that you can put yourself in front of the teachers and ask them any questions, but also take advantage of everything else, like the members directory, forms directory, properties for sale, all the replays that we have, all the online courses that we have. So we kind of offer an array of everything that you need. So if you need, like, if you want to get started, we have, like, the beginner investor online courses that you can, that will help you to get started as well too. So so I just wanted to show you so that you could take advantage of everything that we have to offer. So hopefully this gave you kind of an idea of REI USA. And I hope that if you are not a member, you become a member. And if you are a member, that you are utilizing everything that you're paying for, because this is basically like almost 8 years of my life combined into this website so that we can really help and guide you to get started. Okay. Okay, good. Any final last questions? Anything else that you can think of that you need? If you want to raise your hand, I can unmute you, or if you want to put it in the chat, you can. Otherwise, you can always email us at questions@rei-usa.com, or join the Facebook group. Okay, join the Facebook group, and then you can post your questions as well in there. And I just went to the website, so I'm not sure, Jawan, like why yours didn't work, but it was working for me. So if you have any more issues with the website, just email questions@rei-usa.com, and our team will help to try to figure out what's going on. Okay. Okay, good. Awesome. Well, I appreciate everything that you guys, I appreciate you guys showing up and listening to me to the whole time. And I hope that we can help you in all your real estate investing needs. Okay, we're here to help you. And if you want to have a demo with Christy, she's our community manager, just email us, and then you could set up an appointment with her as well too. And she can really get in and show you how REI USA works. Okay. All right. Awesome. Okay, so thank you so much. Great to meet you guys. Take care. Bye.